drinks. New York, big city drinks.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis for the Knick of Time show. Here to give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And I'm back with my guys doing a show after a long layoff. And it's good to see you guys, man. Good to see you.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, man. We're going to get right into it, though. We're going to get right into it. News has been popping up in Knicks Nation after a quiet summer. And one of the things I want to talk about is the emergence of the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Seems to be in the trade rumors, all right? He was on a little bit of a press run. He actually talked to the press. And he said this, I am a Milwaukee Buck. But most importantly, I'm a winner. I want to win. All right. And this is what he's saying to on 48 Minutes podcast. And I have to do whatever it takes for me to win. And if there's a better situation for me to win that Larry O'Brien, I have to take that better situation. He is a free agent in 2025. And Ian Begley came out and said the Knicks are keeping tabs on the Giannis Antetokounmpo situation and could make moves with him in mind. Woo! This is getting juicy, guys. This is getting juicy. The Knicks have been keeping first round draft picks in their back pocket. They have contracts that are movable. And now it seems like stars might be aligning to cash in. Now, I'll start with you, Ryan G. What do you think about the prospect of having Giannis on the Knicks? Are you interested? That was a dumb question.
Well, a former MVP who gives you about, nearly 30 points a game, double-digit rebounding, defense, a player that can create shots for other players as well. I mean, getting a guy like that, you'd definitely be down for it. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens going into next season, knowing that he's going to be on the final year of his contract and what the Milwaukee Bucks are going to do, especially if the Milwaukee Bucks don't, go far in the playoffs or whatever the case may be. So it'll be interesting to see. I know for a fact that Giannis loves it in Milwaukee. And I think if it was up to him, he wouldn't want to move. But that will to win, and if Milwaukee can't do what it takes to actually surround him with the right pieces for him to actually be able to have a chance at winning a championship with the Bucks again, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. But the Knicks, but the one good thing about the Knicks is, like you said, they have a lot of movable contracts. They don't really have a player that's on like a major contract where it's going to be difficult to actually like move that player or try to put pieces together to make it work. So I think the fact that the Knicks have a lot of movable contracts, the Knicks have a lot of young players that other teams are gonna look at and see value in, and then on top of that, the first round picks. Yeah, like you said, everything's gonna be right there for the taking if Giannis decides that he wants to move on.
You got Lee.
Man, since I've been a Knicks fan, I've been delusional about Kobe, LeBron, and Durant coming to New York. And I've seen all three spur the Knicks and go elsewhere or stay where they are. Giannis, I think, for the first time in a long time, it feels very realistic. And more so than like us winning the lottery, this is really about him coming to the Knicks and being the final piece. We have all the other things in place, which wasn't the case when Durant, LeBron, and Kobe were rumored to want to come to New York back in the day. We have an established, awesome regular season coach and Tom Thibodeau, fresh off his best playoff win against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the best upset of his career. Even though it was a fifth seed beating the fourth seed, it was the toughest team that he beat that was higher seeded in the playoffs in his tenure as the head coach. Also got superstar right now, Jalen Brunson, a true leader and a closer.
Yes.
Giannis might not be the closer from mid-range or three, but Jalen Brunson absolutely is. It would be a perfect complementary piece. And we have the cachet of draft picks and young players, and like Ryan said, movable contracts to make the deal even feasible. Like you can project and construct a trade package that Milwaukee would probably be very interested in taking. seen a lot of Twitter bums over the last couple of days since the Giannis news broke, saying that Julius Randle will be included in any trade for Giannis. Not happening. If Milwaukee's losing the top 3 player in franchise history, Big O, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor, and Giannis, those are the 3 best butts of all time. If they're losing Giannis, that's a full teardown. They don't want Julius Randle at 28, 29 years old on that roster. They don't want IQ, Grimes, RJ, Mitch, and draft picks galore. And you give them all of that. And you try to find a way to make Randle and Giannis work as a forwards, and you let Hartenstein or someone else be the starting center, and Jalen Brunson's running the team. That is not only a championship, that is a dynasty.
You said a lot there, Lee. There's a lot to unpack. For one, I will say this. There is a little bit of competition if Giannis wants to win the chip or he wants young talent to run with. There is a team in OKC who has a plethora of picks and young players who they can include in the package as well. So they are a team I will look out for. I will also say that, if Giannis does care about that big market thing, if that's a thing for him, he might try to steer his way to New York. But OKC is definitely a possibility to kind of swoop in there. But I mean, the good thing about it is there's been a few rumors about big stars coming around in that year. So even if they end up getting Giannis, there's other consolation prizes that might be available. It could be Joel Embiid. It could, you know what I'm saying? So, because you can't have everybody, right? Even though we have the most draft capital, you can't have everybody. So it still might work out in our favor. Just the fact that there could be multiple stars available at the same time works out better for the Knicks in general. So that's one. Number 2. Go ahead.
I was just on counter the OKC. You're right. They have better draft capital than us. And I think most people would argue that they have better young players than us.
Mm-hmm.
But is Giannis going to want to go from a small market to the smallest market in the NBA? I don't think so. And OKC lacks the identity, but the Knicks have. They're up and coming. They have an incredible young team, but they don't have that defensive identity, nor do they have a proven coach that can win you 50 games with a depleted roster. Coach D, awesome coach of the year candidate last season, but he's not Tom Thibodeau. And I'm not saying Tom Thibodeau is Red Hoseman. I'm just saying he's a better coach than Coach D. And if Giannis joined him, it's more guaranteed they're going to be a contender in year 1 opposed to year 2 or 3.
I agree with you. That's why I said before that it depends on, does he care about going to another small market team versus New York? That's why this year is actually really big for OKC in general. You know what I'm saying? Because they seem like they took a step last year. SGA has established himself in FIBA as a guy to look out for. They have Wembanyama. They have not Wembanyama. I'm sorry. What's the other tall
Chet
guy?
Holmgren.
Chet Holmgren. So they have
Jalen
pieces.
Williams.
Yeah, they have pieces that they can put together and put on the floor and make some noise this year. So this year is going to be really important for them if they're in that game of attracting the big name free agents, right? So you're absolutely right. As far as the Julius Randle thing, I never thought about that point, Lee, that they would only want draft picks and don't want Julius Randle. But I can see it both ways though. I can see them wanting somebody who can still steady the ship and not tank all the way. I can see them wanting both. I can see them wanting someone who can steady the ship in a Randle or RJ. Maybe even more like, maybe it could be more likely RJ because he's a little bit younger. I can see that as well with picks to go with it. You know what I'm saying? I can see it both ways. It really depends on them and what they're looking for if they decide to tear it down or rebuild, or go with some teams kind of do a soft rebuild, So I can see it both ways. And for the Knicks, if you're taking on a huge salary, you're gonna have to give out some huge salary. So for the Knicks perspective and trying to build out the team, I can see them going, man, we have to commit a lot of money to a lot of people. So somebody who's making over 20 a year has to be shipped out just to make the books work. So I can see it both ways, to be honest with you.
But yeah, remember Middleton's 33, Brook Lopez is 35.
Oh yeah,
If Giannis is gone, it just makes more sense to tear it all down. You don't want to add a 29-year-old Julius Randle to 2 guys on the wrong side of 30 as your bid 3. That's going to hurt your lottery standing, and it's going to hurt your draft capital moving forward. You want a complete teardown if you're a small market team, not be middling in purgatory.
I mean, it depends. Like, they would move them too. In that scenario, I would say they would try to move Middleton and get something back too. You know what I'm saying? It really depends. But I can see it going both ways. I want to ask you guys one question though. Giannis is very talented, right? 30 points per game. I see some people, Knicks Nation. I don't understand some people though. I see some people in Knicks Nation going, "We don't want Giannis because he's not like
No, God, hell.
I'm dog. You can't make this up.
Wait,
Bruh.
You can't make this
Oh
up
my.
wait. What's their reasoning though? What's
because
the
he's
reasoning
not
that you
because he
want
can't
Giannis?
shoot. Because he can't shoot and he's not a mid-range guy or it's yes, it's dumb. It's completely dumb. This is that whole Knicks fans are the smartest fans in the like when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, y'all making it hard for us out here. Okay. We don't want an MVP caliber who won a championship because he can't shoot. Like, shut up.
You see, this is what I can't stand because it's not even just Knicks fans, it's basketball fans in general. They put such a huge emphasis on shooting, and I understand. If you have a roster that can space the floor out and shoot the ball, it does help you with spacing, and you're able to do a lot with that spacing to score and things of that nature. But you also need players that are transcendent.
Yes.
Giannis is a transcendent player. Even though Giannis cannot shoot, you can still surround him with guys who can shoot and be just as effective as a team that has five shooters all out on the floor at one time. So the fact that some people put so much emphasis on shooting and be like, you know what? I don't want this player, even though he's a former MVP, because he cannot shoot is just foolish to me because you can still be effective with that one MVP player who cannot shoot and put guys around him who can shoot because you know what? Not only does that guy have an impact to where he can score the rock, but also also Giannis is a good passer. He sees the floor well also.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand the reasoning behind every single player. Oh, just because he can't shoot, I don't want him on my team. Like, do people actually look at other things a player can do to help out a team for them to win? It's not just shooting, if that's important. There's other factors that are important as well.
I agree. I agree. But it brings me to another question. How do you build out a team around Giannis with what we have? Because obviously, like you said, when you surround a guy like Giannis with shooting and maximizes his potential, we don't have a Brook Lopez here. So my question would be, all right, Tom Thibodeau, you gotta flex your muscles, right? You have to flex your muscles now. You got a coach. You might have to be a little bit unconventional. Maybe you playing Giannis at center and have him run centers off the floor. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you try certain things to switch it up. So like I just wonder how would you play it? You know what I mean? Like what do you think of the idea of having Giannis play center?
I mean, he is a top 30 player of all time. And he's one of the most multi-dimensional ones too. 6 assists a game's no joke. Ryan's right. He's that's incredible floor vision. He's an incredible leader. And he's a winner. He's that Tom Thibodeau DNA, the type of guy that you want. He's going to outwork and out hustle everyone else on the roster to set the standard for the rest of the team. Man, plug and play. You're talking about a generational talent. Play him at center, play him at the 4, put Hartenstein to 5, tell him to bomb away from the 3-point line, do nothing but work on your shot. Don't make the trade for PJ Washington, make a bigger trade for Miles Turner. Find a guy who can help spread the floor to get Giannis and then worry about the rest later on. I mean, as long as you got Brunson, that's a dynasty. Those two will win multiple championships.
Absolutely.
Tom Thibodeau will change the perception of what kind of coach he is if he has a star like Giannis as his number one option.
Absolutely. I agree with you there. Whatever we do, we got to keep Jalen Brunson.
Yes.
But we also, I feel like we should be creative with the way we use Giannis. I feel like we can run centers off the floor with Giannis if we don't have the shooters we don't have right now. Also, I do feel like you're rightly our backup center. I'm pretty sure he's been working on shooting threes this summer because that's the one thing that we need. I'm a big Mitch lover, huge Mitch lover. I'm not even sure if he'll be involved in the trade or not. But if something miracle, he's still here, and we have Giannis here. I can talk myself into benching Mitch
Yep.
just for fit's sake. You know what I mean?
And now we're back to that conversation we had, 2 years ago about the necessity of a stretch five once you're in contender mode. And we're slowly approaching that. And if you have Giannis or Luka, who's also a poorish three-point shooter, or anyone really besides Embiid and Jokic, you need to have a stretch five at center position around your superstar.
Yeah. And I really truly believe the Knicks got Hartenstein here to be that because of how he played with the Clippers. It's just that when he got to New York, he wet the bed. He wasn't able to hit a shot from three this season. So I think they're hoping that this season coming up, he starts to project what he was doing in the Clippers and he's able to hit three. So I mean, hopefully it all works out. But I'm excited, man. This February coming next summer is gonna be a huge summer for the NBA and Knicks Nation. It can all come to a head for us. This is the most excited about a big move coming than I've been in a long time. I feel like I don't want to get my hopes up, but I feel like this is probably the highest my hopes have been since I've been a Knicks fan.
And like I said, man, when we had the idea of Durant coming in 2019 or LeBron in 2010, we didn't have much of a roster. 2010, we had Stoudemire, but we didn't have. If we would have gotten LeBron, we wouldn't have much cap space left over, and we had a really terrible role players on that team.
Yeah,
with a coach who probably didn't fit LeBron and Stoudemire, or not Stoudemire, but LeBron and Mike D'Antoni. We didn't have a defensive identity. Now we do. We can get rid of. We need to IQ, Grimes, RJ, or if it's Randall, or if it's Mitch, and survive because Tom Thibodeau's instilled an identity with this team. And now you got Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, McBride, Sims stepping up. Giannis doesn't have to come save New York.
Nope.
He would just create New York into a contender. And that's a great place to be in.
Yeah. And this is a perfect Tom Thibodeau piece that he will salivate over for years to come. So if we get him, that would be amazing. If we don't end up getting him, it can still work out for us because there could still be other large stars on the market like an Embiid because that or something like that because you already know what's happening with Embiid and Harden. So I'm excited to see what's going to come. All right. But yo, that is our show. Thank you guys for watching. And listen, we're gonna be churning out content. Also, watch out for our new show, Knick Tac-Toe. Shout out to the ladies of Knicks Omni Fan. If you want to play Knick Tac-Toe, you already know. Hit us up at the Knick of Time podcast at gmail.com or DM us on Twitter, most likely, and Instagram as well. All right, that's our show. We out of here. Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.